Raven, you mentioned a certain shirt issue going on this week.
Shirt issue? Oh, you mean the patch with the kid?
Oh, that's right. It was. I thought it was on a shirt. It was on his backpack, right?
He may have had a shirt later on, but yeah, he definitely had a patch on his backpack.
The
Um,
patch conundrum.
yep.
Well, if they're trying to get off nicotine, let them use the patch. Jeez. I
One
mean,
of the best pics I think I saw of him was he's standing there with his backpack with a couple of patches that are all patriotic stuck on the back of his backpack, and he's looking at this car with all of this like Greenpeace stuff and everything else plastered all over the back end of the car, and that ended up becoming a meme. And he was talking about it on one of the podcasts he was actually on, and he was like, if they can show off all of the stuff and we really don't care, that's part of their First Amendment. Should my First Amendment be able to be patriotic?
yep.
You are not allowed to do that.
That makes sense. Yeah. We all must observe the double standard, but not
Rules
speak
for
of it.
thee, but not for me.
That's why we all just turn into a bunch of Eric Cartmans going, "Screw you! I do what I want." Well,
Yes,
when that's the problem when the rules are not being applied evenly, people become very disenfranchised and turn into dicks. Understandably so sometimes. See,
And do not fret. Last Thursday on my stream, we used all the scientific experimentation we could use to determine the Gadsden flag is not racist.
hold on, they're trying to say the Gadsden flag is racist.
Well, they were trying to say it's about slavery, and this is where the whole argument began. The mother and the student are rebuffed and said, no, it's relating to the revolution. To be technical, it was a naval ensign used at the very start of the revolution. It's unofficially the first naval ensign of the United States Navy.
Yep.
Oh, no kidding.
So they kept, the teacher kept connecting, but slavery, but slavery, but slavery. And that was basically the whole video. And I can bring up many different groups that have used the Gadsden flag. I don't agree with their use all the time. I'm not a big fan of people taking historical iconography and warping its intention. But the bare bones Gadsden flag, it's not about slavery. It's American Revolution.
Yep.
And I know some
American
people are probably sick of me saying this, but every so often I got to bring it up. I can't stand that word racism. There's not a second race on the planet to be racist against. Ethnist, yes. Racist, no. I mean, to be fair, if someone's ethnist and the aliens show up, they'll probably be racist too. But but you see my point here. It's like, stop creating that mental divide between everybody that doesn't really exist.
Well, my thing is,
Sir,
it's gotten way past and beyond.
Autism are not humans.
We can discuss that later. Go ahead, Raven.
It's beyond the boy who cried wolf. He called wolf, and all the villagers came out to see what he was complaining about, and there was no wolf. So they go back, and after a certain point, it's just gotten to a point where they've cried racism so many times. It's like, so nobody's bothering to come out and see what's going on anymore.
When I used to work at a casino in security, and they put me bouncing in the nightclub for a while. And one of the nights they put me in was Latin night. So there's me, I'm Castilian. My partner, she's Puerto Rican. We had to kick a dude out because he tried to sneak in his underage brother. So as we're kicking him out, he turned around, he looked at both of us, he goes, "You're kicking me out because I'm Spanish, aren't you?" We could not. Professionalism went out the window. We just started laughing our asses off. But the more and more people are like, "Oh, you're a racist. You're a racist," for, whenever we tried to like stop somebody from doing something, that was like their go-to card. I got so sick of it. I'm like, wait a minute. That accusation only works to stop people who aren't actually racist. So what do they expect to happen? They expect everyone to do exactly what we've been doing. All of a sudden going back on our heels, going, "Oh, no, explaining ourselves and becoming we go on the defensive pretty much." And I got sick of it one night, and uh, black gentleman we had to escort out, and he said, "Are you kicking me out because I'm black?" I was just so sick of hearing this over and over again. I just said, "Yes, I am," and he shut up. I couldn't believe it. I'm like, that's all it takes, and they stop. I should have just been going around to claim I hate everybody years ago, and they would have just left me alone. Awesome.
Sir, I've done that for years, and people still don't leave me alone. So it's not as foolproof as you think.
Well, they do if you're not late for your shift. Over in the chat, Andrew Campbell has also joined us. Sup? And get ready for the big shout. Ram!
Ram.
Hey, Ram.
Yeah, so, what? By the way, Raven, what did become of this student?
So I believe he's been allowed back to school. I think he's running for class vice president. But he's been on a bunch of podcasts this past week. I believe he was on the Benny Johnson show and Michael Knowles, I think. I think there was another one I saw him on, but I don't remember offhand. But they were just asking him, questions about stuff, and it was interesting because he was much more knowledgeable about history than his. I guess this lady was the vice president, I'm sorry, the vice principal, and she just had no clue about anything.
That's not surprising.
Well, she's an administrator, and when you're sitting there dealing with administration, I'm not trying to make excuses for the school system, but trying to put myself in a principal's shoes. If I'm dealing with the administration, everything that's going on, I'm probably going to start to forget textbook knowledge that I don't use on a daily basis. Granted, in that line of work, she should probably make a little more of a point to keep up on that, but I could see how a student with that as an area of interest would know more than a member of the faculty.
Yeah, but once
I think Friedel can attest to that. You probably knew more about about history in some respects than your teachers in some cases.
Oh yeah,
All I'll say is we don't have, when you watch the video, and this is a precedent for most problems we deal on our daily basis, they don't cite an individual, they don't cite a certain person or a certain law or something. They will say they. In this case, the district or the union or the government or they. It is always it's an extension of they. If we can figure out who they is, we will solve world peace, because they has caused so many problems around the world for millennium.
It's always an amorphous blob of faceless people.
Yeah, nobody has the cojones to say in particular who it is. And that's the whole argument in this particular Gatsa flag scenario. The representative of the district, because I don't know what her actual job was, she would just keep saying, well, the district says, but do you know the history? Do you know why the district is claiming to have a problem? Well, but the district says.
What the charts say.
We have it in writing now, therefore it is absolute and true. You cannot dispute it.
Well, Rita, with all that said, I got a couple of groups I can blame for all our problems. All right? And I have a couple of solutions for them, but then I'd be the bad guy.
Ultimately, the responsibility ends up on all of our shoulders because we are part of the crowd, and as a community, I mean, not just us. I mean, as a civilization.
Just remember,
the governments can only do what
sword.
People allow them to do. But this is why culture is so important, yet it was overlooked. I mean, the leftists, they didn't overlook it. They were damn brilliant when they got into the culture and started making things the norm bit by bit. And unfortunately, the only way to unwind that is the same method, and might not take the same amount of time, but it's going to take time. And that's why what we're doing now is important, not just for hey, we're getting cool stories out there, but that's not just right now. That's, laying foundation of culture for future generations. And when it's nothing but a whole bunch of political propaganda, I mean, surely you see the problem with that.
I do.
Gunnar was right. The other show that I was thinking of was Ben Shapiro's.
Yeah. Unfortunately, I have not kept up with any of the news this past week because I've just had my face buried in a manuscript.
Well, you're being more productive than most of society.
Yep.
Somewhat. I mean, no, there are people out there breaking their backs and building stuff, and I'm writing a story that may or
And
may
being
not be
broken too.
relevant. It's a risk.
All
I'm putting
right,
all my
I'll
effort
knock
into
it down a
something, but
peg. You're being more productive than some of society.
You're being more
I'll
productive than
take it.
George R. R. Martin. I. How about that?
I will definitely take it. I can't sit here and talk crap about Martin, though. I just know what you
I
guys
can.
have told me about that. I haven't read his stuff, so
I
not
have.
being into his
Therefore, I
work,
have
I'm
all the
not
right to say
attached
that.
to it. But
I have. I've read all his books. Therefore, I have the right to say that you are being way more productive, respectable, and honorable than that fat fuck. Don't worry.
it's kind of ironic. I I want to build this channel talking about stuff we all like, not things that piss us off. So I broke up. I had some segments I uploaded last week, and the the whole segment where we just kind of trash talked on Stephen King's opinions. I put that up last. I put it in the Friday slot to go die because I didn't want to build the channel on talking shit.
How much did that get you?
It's one of my most viewed videos on the channel right now. I couldn't believe it. It was like,
Oh, are you
yeah,
telling
it
me that
took off.
Rage?
I'm like, that's the one I
Are you,
didn't want to take off. Why is this getting all the attention?
are you telling me that rage and hatred gets you more attention and
Uh,
money?
Apparently, people like drama. Who knew?
You, who knew? You hear that, Trippy?
Well,
Who tell you that rage and hatred is more powerful than love and peace? Who could have possibly told you that?
it's not more powerful. It just operates differently. It burns fast and furious, like lighting up a thing of like lighting off some gasoline, but it
Hold
goes
up.
out real quick.
Frequency. Stephen King deserved it, okay?
Yes,
Just want to
Oh,
he did.
honestly
perhaps. I'm not
fucking shit
disagreeing
on him.
with you on that. I'm just saying I don't want to build the channel off trash talking. But
All
yeah,
right.
hate and rage. Yeah, it's like throwing a match on gasoline. It was very bright, very powerful, but it's gone now. You build it up on positivity, something you like. That's like burning a nice wood oak fire that's going to burn for hours and hours. So take your time, build it up slow, and in the long run, it'll pay off much better. That's my opinion. I don't know from experience. That's how I
I
see
haven't-
things.